Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pony Montana, and in this video, we are going to be going over a huge tip. Pause. But we're going to be going over a huge tip that's going to help a lot of you guys out that are struggling to get the run game going in Madden 22. Now, I have gone over this, but I'm going into it a little bit more in depth this time around because this is definitely something that you guys are going to need to start utilizing if you guys want to be as proficient as possible in the run game. Now, before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment down below on anything you guys need, and I'll try my best to get it to you. Also, if you guys want to watch me play Madden live, the link is down in the description. We play Weekend League live every single weekend. All 25 games, all 25 sweats, they're all played live. Now, run tips. This is pretty much a run tip video for those of you guys who are struggling on the run. So on the defensive side, we're just going to call it random play. And on the offensive side, let's start off with, it doesn't really matter as long as it's a run play. So let's start off with the old trusty, let's go halfback power G. Random run play. We got Najee Harris here. Very good running back. And one of the things that I seem to notice when I watch other people play that aren't that great in the run game is the impatience when it comes to running the ball. Now, what I mean by that is as soon as they're calling hike, I see just, okay, now this is a different situation because of the pancakes, but I see everybody just immediately just run, and they're trying to get to the outside if it's a stretch play. They're trying to do the most, and they're holding turbo too long. Now, what I mean by that is, yes, you want to be as fast as possible, but holding turbo too quickly for too long is gonna end up working against you. Now, what I mean by that is it for some reason in Madden, the longer you hold turbo, the quicker the sheds happen. This is something that I've tested over and over again, but the quicker they pursue the ball carrier, the more that you hold turbo. Now, if you guys want a little bit of proof of this, run down the field, run down the open field. And what happens a lot of the times when you guys are running down an open field, someone who has no chance in catching you somehow ends up catching you from behind. It doesn't make sense. You can have 99 speed, and a lot of the times it still happens. That person ends up kind of, getting a little bit of leeway in actually finding a way to stop you. It doesn't make sense, but that's what happens when you hold turbo. Now, a lot of people fail to do this behind the line of scrimmage when they're running the ball. And one of the biggest things you guys can do if you guys are running the ball is to simply let go of turbo. Now, how I run the ball, and I feel like I do a pretty decent job at getting in between holes and getting in between tackles, is you hold turbo for a second and then you let it go until you see a complete lane. Until you see a complete lane to go through, you're pretty much letting turbo go. So for this play specifically, as soon as I touch the ball, I'm holding turbo. Now, as soon as I get here, I'm letting turbo go, because I don't want the sheds to happen quicker. I don't want the pursuit to happen quicker. And as you can see, the block, you want to sort of follow your blocks, but at the same time, you want to be able to make a man miss yourself. Now, if I would have juked towards the right side here, actually, I try to spin, but if I would have juked, I would have probably had a touchdown here. But again, you're always going to end up gaining yards because this guy's holding his block. This guy's holding his block. This guy's holding his block. Now, I know you guys can't see it, but so I will bring out the trusty red arrow, but this guy's holding his block. This guy's holding his block here. They're all holding their blocks, and you're just pretty much following your blocks without holding turbo while running the ball. So again, you're holding turbo, and then immediately, now that time, this guy at 44 was already literally block shedding as soon as the play started. But you're simply just holding turbo and then letting go, making sure that you have a lane, and then you're pretty much bursting through afterwards. Now, the reason you want to burst through afterwards is because of stamina problems. Now, again, even that time, I ended up juking myself into a bad tackle, and I ended up still getting yards. But the stamina issue is why you don't want to sit there and hold turbo for too long. Now I'm actually going to call a different play because I actually really don't like that play. But if you guys are calling, let's go. I don't want to call a play that ends up with a motion, but let's come out in shotgun. Let's call halfback base, and on the offensive side, we're just going to call a random play. Same thing with base. You hold turbo and then you let it go until you find a lane where you guys can actually make a move from, because the way that the defense is pursuing you, they're not using turbo. So this guy right here, he's not using turbo. He's waiting for you to run into him. So the more you use turbo, the slower you're going to end up being when you get into the open field. So it's best if you guys sit there and use turbo early and then potentially gain a lot more yards by following a blocker, or just simply pretty much being a little bit more. As you can see, he should have tackled me there, but because I wasn't holding on to turbo, I didn't fall, I didn't trip, I didn't do anything like that, and it helps. This is a perfect example right here. Perfect example. You're a lot shiftier is pretty much what we're going over in this video. You just are 10 times shiftier when you're not holding turbo, and at the same time, as you can see, boom. And then as soon as I seen that he got picked up here, I'm holding turbo and I'm gone. There's no catching me. And this happens a lot more often, and to be honest, I end up activating my running back X factor more often than I've seen any other streamer, any other YouTuber, because I'm constantly running in between tackles and letting go of turbo. Now, in a situation like that where the guy's behind you, you see no one in front, hold turbo. But again, this is the same situation where I sat there, I didn't hold turbo, and no block sheds happened, and I was able to pretty much go through and pretty much have everything that I needed. That is the biggest tip that I can give you guys for running the ball. Another tip that you guys need: stop clicking B or O. Stop clicking B or O. When you guys are running the ball, you cannot put your cursor on these guys here. Okay? If you guys can't see, I'm clicking on to the lineman, because once you do that, the person that you're playing is going to run commit. Why? Because this is a telltale sign that someone is running the ball. Because if you are passing the ball, you cannot do this. Now, I know run commit isn't the greatest in Madden 22 or in any Madden for that fact, but you don't want to sit there and have to deal with somebody run committing. You don't have to deal with somebody run committing against you if you don't need to. Now, I'm going to showcase this one more time. So if I'm sitting there going like this, right? And you see how I'm on Green and Dotson. This only happens if you're running the ball. Now, if you audible into a pass play, as you can see, it immediately put me back on Ben Roethlisberger. I can't go into the O-line. I can't take my cursor and I can't move it over into the O-line, because I know some people like to motion their guys over just for a specific play or a specific route. But in this case, nice little dot here. In this case, just to showcase that you're giving away that you're running the ball if you're holding on to the cursor and clicking onto one of these linemen. Now, back in the day, you were able to, it was called power blocking, where you would click on one of these guys and kind of motion him. It was like a motion that you hit, and he would kind of lean towards blocking that way. I believe this was in Madden 19. That is no longer the case. So doing this, it offers no value. It gives you no benefit to your run game. These are the two biggest tips that I can give you guys when it comes to running the ball, is simply let go of turbo when you're running, because it's only going to make your run a lot worse. A lot worse than it should be. Like, you should be getting yards almost every single time in this Madden, because it's that easy to run the ball. It's that easy to pass the ball. So if you're not gaining yards on the ground, there's got to be a reason. And sometimes it's as simple as something like this, where you're just simply trying to do too much while trying to go too fast. Again, one more time. Beautiful yardage, about 10 yards there. Hopefully this video helps you guys out that are struggling on the run. This is the best thing that I can tell you guys if you guys are struggling with your run game, is simply patience. Sabali, patience, my boys, patience. My name is Pony Montana. Hopefully this video helps. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.